Good evening, good evening. It is April Fool's for some folks, but it's April 1st, 2026. And it's 7:28 p.m. and I'm just going to be on here for a few minutes. So if people happen to drop in, they drop in. If they don't, that's okay too, because I didn't put anything out there. But guess what? I wanted to make sure today is two things. Two things, okay? One, I want to let everybody know tomorrow, Miller Park Menaloosa Neighborhood Association will be hosting their April 2026 meeting. At the top of the meeting will be the update on the Miller Park Trust. Yep, that Miller Park Trust that's probably going to happen. Lozier Foundation will have a representative there, and the mayor's office will have a representative there. So they'll be speaking on that. Also, the police department, Samantha Harter and Lieutenant Mueller. Now, or Mueller. I'm not sure which way they pronounce that. Anyway, I just wanted to make sure everybody knew about that because it'll be coming up on the city council agenda. And this gives you an idea of where it stands. From the way the mayor talked about the city, state of the city, we already knew it was going to be like a done deal that they were going to lease it. But I think there might be more details tomorrow. That's 6 o'clock, Miller Park Pavilion, and they usually start right on time, that neighborhood association. As I said, these will be the first two. Speakers will be the Lozier Foundation and the mayor's office. So if you have a chance, you might want to try to make that and maybe get in firsthand before it goes before the city council. Because if it goes before the city council, it's a done deal. Anyway, I want to continue on here because today I spent the day at the courthouse for the hearing for Jackson's Fairdale Cafe. Everyone knows where the Fairdale is on 24th Street. And there's been some suits. There was some public issues where Omaha Economic Development Corporation went in to try to have them evicted, had the constable here. And you know what ticks me off is all you so-called, and you know who you are, and I don't care. And if you keep messing with me, I'm going to call your name out. You go around here and you talk about all what North Omaha should have, this unity, and we need to work together and collaborate. But then when it comes with someone who isn't in your clique, where do you step up to the plate for? And so this has been going on. They had the hearing today for the eviction hearing. And there was some very interesting information, but I don't want to go into a lot of it. Because it went to the jury today. It was a jury trial and it went to the jury, and at 4 o'clock there had been no decision made. And according to the judge's instructions, they had to, if they didn't have reached anything by 4:30, they would come back, and tomorrow then they will come forth tomorrow and debate after 1:30. At 1:30 p.m. they'll start again deliberations, and then they'll go from there. Well, here's what really ticks me off. Like I said, Jackson's Restaurant, when they went in and had that public display of a business, people were eating, and in comes the Douglas County Constable to evict them, take the keys away from them. And who did this? Omaha Economic Development. Now, if you go to my Facebook page, Conversations with Cheryl Weston, you will see the picture of the instigator, the vice president of operations, Mike Robinson. And like I said, this young man, I don't want to get into it because, like I say, it's not over yet. But I got some words, like, hey, I'm probably going to have for him too. But anyway, he had this smirk on his face. And it was so, you wanted to just run up and slap it off his face. But here's what I'm going to say. If you go to my Facebook page, you will see a picture where he goes inside of the restaurant. The Jackson's restaurant there. He's inside of it, okay? And he has these, looks like tongs, and he's messing around underneath where the stove is. I don't think he's a gas repairman, and nobody asked him to come in. And so here is, I'm not good at bringing in the pictures on this, so bear with me. But here's the point. The restaurant owner, Mr. Jackson, here's what he said. Mike Robinson of OEDC is in my restaurant without a 24-hour notice, letting him know that he was coming in. He is messing with the stove on Mr. Jackson's off day. Mr. Jackson went on to say, I thought he was director of operations, not a stove repairman. Didn't know that he knew how to work on stoves with a pair of tongs. I came in the next day and smelled gas. I called Mud, so there is a record of it. This is the part that really ticks me off. This young man went in to Jackson's Fairdale Cafe unannounced while it was closed, and mess with a gas stove. If anybody has a gas stove, anybody came up with the gas stove, you don't mess with gas. Because if it gets to leaking and stuff, it can do. And we've all heard of how it's blown up. Just ask the people down there in the old market what can happen. So here it is, the picture, because he had it on video. So he gets this. He's in here. Mr. Jackson posts the video of him doing, or the picture of him doing this. I posted it to my website and Facebook page. Now, when you see this, and MUD comes in and says, hey, yeah, we might smell gas, what we got to do? Okay? Let me ask you this. If this happened out west at a restaurant, what do you think would be the results of that individual? What do you think? But no, it's North Omaha. It's just those people down there. They don't care. And then we got these gatekeepers and suck-ups and wannabes who kiss the people in charges, but for a few dollars that they might get in a grant, Anyway, and I posted on my Facebook page. Let me read this. The OEDC board should fire this individual effective immediately. If this was somewhere out west, what do you think would happen? This is really sad that an individual would stoop so low to be messing around with something like gas that could endanger the lives of human beings. Other people who might not even have anything to do with this. Nobody. Because you don't know what can happen when you have a gas leak. In fact, it could have been so that when Mr. Jackson opened the door, it could have blew up everything. But you got this, and I'm going to quit calling him a young man. I'm just going to call him individual because he doesn't deserve that respect. He goes in, messes around, you can smell gas. My comment was, after I said this individual would be fired, gone, the board would not. So tomorrow, when I do make a posting, probably have the verdict tomorrow, I will show you the pictures of every single one of those board members for Omaha Economic Development Corporation. I went on to say in my post, and you can read it, it's up, where is all this unity and collaboration that all of these so-called leaders and people from North Omaha talk about? And I know, and I try not to get really emotional and loud, but this ticked me off to no end. And I'm sitting in this courtroom looking at him with this smirk on his face the whole time. And we were there all day. I was there till 4, and they were still there when I left, because 4:30, everything's over. This is another example of why North Omaha is exactly what it is and will remain like it is at the bottom of the pit, because the silent majority keep on allowing the chosen gatekeepers of North Omaha to operate and pimp the system of obtaining funding as nonprofit organizations disguised to help bring economic development to North Omaha, North 24th Street, and nearby vicinities or village, as some folks like to say. The wannabes want to be accepted and be part of the in crowd and receive crumbs from grants that will only sustain them until the next round, and they will have to humbly come back and beg for a little more. Folks, North Omaha, I've been saying, and I'll keep on saying it till maybe it'll sink into enough individuals who have enough backbone to do something about it. North Omaha is purposely and strategically allowed to remain as it is. It is needed to remain as a disadvantaged area. How else will those in power, the city and others alike, will be able to receive government funding from the local, state, and federal level? Funding, because if North Omaha was this thriving community, it wouldn't happen. And I closed it by saying, when will folks get it? You cannot have a progressive, thriving ghetto, or hood, as some people like to say. You can't. And what ticks me off is, and I'm telling anybody who's listening, and you can tell your friends, and you can share, you can do whatever you want. Several people suggested that, Cheryl, we shouldn't launder our dirty laundry in public. And we shouldn't be telling it to white people. So when those people that you are so afraid of dirty laundering in front of them keep kicking you in your butt, and you want to tell we shouldn't do that, well, let me say to you, don't ask me to take nothing down. I put it there and I intend to stand by it. And I'm going to add to it, okay? Don't tell me that I shouldn't talk about this out in public where people will know they need to know what's going on in North Omaha. And maybe some of those people who keep giving money, which a lot of it comes from the city of Omaha, which certain people got millions last year and look like they'll get millions again in this budget. When those people stop getting it, then I'll stop. But if you text me and if you call me and say, well, you shouldn't really talk about this like that, don't put his picture out there. He shouldn't have been in the kitchen on the man's day off. He shouldn't have been in there with tongues messing with the gas. He should have think about what could have happened. And that board, that Omaha Economic Development Corporation board, they shouldn't be getting any more money. And I hope Attorney Foley will do an investigation, because one thing I can say about that man, our state auditors called him the Attorney General. He's not. Mr. Foley is about the law. And if necessary, I'll start the petition if I have to. But if somebody starts one to say they need to be investigated, that man needs to be fired, and every one of them on that board should be replaced if they don't do something about it. If you allow someone to take and put other people's lives in danger. And one thing that came out about this today, well, no, I'm not even going to tell that part. Because I said I'm going to wait, and I will wait until tomorrow. And another thing, though, that I am going to say today that ticked me off is when that attorney said North Omaha, he was talking because the defendant's attorney was talking about what the Fairdale Cafe meant to North Omaha, what it was one of the restaurants where you could sit down, have a meal in that area. And I do believe there is another restaurant or something. But for him, this is what he stood and said. And for all of y'all that said, we shouldn't be doing our laundry out there so that people can see. Well, this man stood in that courtroom today and told those 6 jurors, North Omaha, it does not matter. That's what he said. That's what that attorney said in response to the words of the defendant's attorney. Well, it may not matter to you, but it does matter to me. And maybe there's some other people out there with a backbone that it might matter. And this isn't over by a long shot. But I just wanted to tell you, if you don't want to get your feelings hurt, don't call me, don't text me, don't ask me to take nothing down that I post up there regarding this matter. And I intend to put that picture out and also put an ad. I intend to put it out so it doesn't just go here in Omaha. I want people to know all over. And I hope someone national picks it up and blasts it. This is what goes in North Omaha. This is what goes on regarding so-called gatekeepers leaders. This is what happens to it. So I just had to get that off my chest, you know. And I definitely wanted to remind you again that there will be the meeting tomorrow, Miller Park's Neighborhood Association meeting at 6 o'clock at the Miller Park, Pavilion. It will be then. And also tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock at Metropolitan Community College in the Mule Barn. 9 o'clock will be the Omaha Inland Port Authority. And we got some stuff coming up on it. After tomorrow's meeting, we'll have more on it. So I want you to stay tuned. And I will let you know as soon as I find out what the results of the hearing was from today. But people, get up. Why? Don't we have backbone? And there's also, I'm going to bring up about what, has been going on. People, North 30th Street down Florence, all the buildings and businesses that have been going and closing. And just recently, there was an article put out, a posting by Sid Kelly, who used to work at No Empty Pots, because it's closed. Well, shouldn't say. It did take care of the people, the selected ones. They kept them. I was going to see if I still had that, and maybe I'll talk about that one tomorrow, because I'm coming back with that, because I thought, man, where can these people, what happened? What happened North Omaha to? Well, one thing is, there's no leadership. No leadership. The leadership is gone. We used to have leaders. And that's the reason why I tell people when they say, none of those are my leaders, okay? None. N-O, 0, Z-E-R-O, 0. And so, yes, I don't usually do this, but you know how sometimes it just bubbles up to here and you can't take any more of it? And that was what it was today. I thought you would have the audacity to call, to text me and tell me what I shouldn't do. When you start paying my bills, when you start taking care of me, when you start providing for my family, then you may be able to tell me what I should and should not do. But even then, I doubt it seriously, because I do believe in our leaders who were really leaders, like Shirley Chisholm, Fannie Humbly, those people who said, you got to do what you got to do. Malcolm X, who said, by any means necessary. By Martin Luther King, who said, if you keep bending and you bend for, you'll stand for nothing because you keep doing the same. And that's what's happening here. So, you know what? It just disgusts me to know that I just could not take. Here is a man that is doing some business. And what came out today, some of those facts, it is unbelievable. And all of them down there on North 24th Street. And the city of Omaha, you're part of it. You're part of it. Because Omaha Economic Development Corporation couldn't operate on 24th Street. They couldn't be allowed to hold all those properties that they've been holding back for years and years and years. Even when the CEO, Mike Maroney, sat in a meeting and I was sitting there listening to him, and he said that's been 40 years and nothing's changed. Well, Mike, did you tell him, though, who owns a lot of that property down there? And here you got a thriving business. So there's a reason why they did not want to renew this man's lease. There's a reason why. And it'll come out because only certain people are going to benefit. And to you who's on that 24th Street BID, yeah, you're going to get some information too. We got some receipts on you. And that'll be coming too. It's just that this is the most important thing. So anyway, I know I can rest now a little bit better. This makes you feel when you get something, when you know it's right, when you know it's true, you got to get it off. Oh, I tell you, we got some stuff that's coming, and I have some news for you that's going to come about, some changes that's going to happen, and I'm really excited about that for Conversations with Cheryl Weston. And we just we need your support. We need your financial support. We need your input. We need to hear from you when you know of things that's going on. Hey, send them to me, DM me, send them to the website, and we'll check that out. And so this is what we've got to do, but we've got to come together and stand for it, because if things are not right, and it's not shame. We are young people. Just like it's going on in the school system, the OPS system, and several mothers with their children have been talking about saying, hey, what can we do? We've got to do this. Because you know what? We are all we got, folks. We may not have everything. We may not have everything that we need. But we all we got. So we got to do something. And we got to do it for ourselves. So I'm going to get off. Have a good evening. I will talk to you tomorrow. Tune in at 9 o'clock a.m. for the Inland Port Authority Board meeting at Metropolitan Community College. And we'll get some more on the down. Have a great evening. Thank you. Bye.